'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
All right, it's about time we finally do this song by John Legend. Let's start with the regular chords, and then we're going to see what we can incorporate from all of our charts and music theory ideas. Here's how the song would go with the original chords. Something like this.
'Cause all of me
That's A flat.
loves all of
And
you. Love your curves and all
B
your
flat
edges,
minor.
all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
Okay, so those are the normal chords. And then if we go to learnpianolive.com/reharm, then we get these three wheels here. First, we have the workshop up here, which explains all of the things that are in all of the wheels. But for today, we're just going to pick a few from the chord-based and see if we have time to get to melody and also bass line reharmonization as well. So they're all kind of similar-ish. But the first thing we're going to do is look for some, augment some dominant chords. So a dominant chord is just a chord that has a 7 on it. Just a regular, like a E flat 7 or an F7 or just something 7. So in this song, as you can see, we have nothing that actually has a 7 on it. However, all 5 chords are potentially dominant chords. All 5 chords. So this right here means that we're in the key of A flat, because the second to last flat, if we count this as the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one, a little hack here for finding key signatures, the second to last flat is always the name of the key. So this flat sign right here is on this space, and that space is an A, because the spaces of the treble clef spell the word face if you go from the bottom to the top. Okay, so none of this has to do with reharmonization, except that this second to last flat right here, the third flat, is on the space for A, which means we are in the key of A flat. That's some important information to have, because down here, through all these charts, here we go, key of A flat is right here. These are all the chords that are in the key of A flat that show up normally within the key of A flat, and the 5 of E flat or of A flat is an E flat. So any of the E flat chords here, we can treat them as dominant chords, as 7 chords. So that means that this E flat right here could be an E flat 7, this E flat right here could be an E flat 7, that could be an E flat 7, and this one could be an E flat 7. And this the song, the way it's set up is just that it's got 2 sets of 4 chords that repeat. So the first set is this thing right here, A flat, F minor, B flat minor, E flat, which we're going to call E flat 7. And then it just repeats that. So I'm going to cross out all of this, and whatever we decide to do on that top part, we're just going to repeat that for the second half. And then the next thing is this F minor, D flat, A flat, E flat, and that just repeats again. So I'm going to go ahead and cross out all of that, and whatever we decide to do with that first set right there, we'll just repeat that. So there's 2 sets of chords that we're going to be following. We're going to be repeating them twice, and we've got an E flat in both of them. So one of our options is to augment a dominant chord. So we've got this E flat 7, And we could just augment it, which means take the 5, 1, 3, 5 of the chord up a half step right there. Now, as always, we have the option of either replacing the chord, a substitution, where we take out the E flat and we put in an E flat augmented, or we can interpolate the chord, stick it in between two chords, so we can play the E flat 7 first and then go to an E flat augmented 7, or just play an E flat to an E flat augmented. So then our two options there would be something like,
'cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me.
You hear that one I
I'll
sneaked
give
in real quick?
my
And then the other
all
one,
to you. You're my
if I just go
end
straight
and
to
my
the
beginning.
augmented.
Even when I lose, I'm winning.
Now,
'Cause
I think
give
that
you
sounds terrible, partially because, and we could have predicted this chord is made up of E flat, G, and B. Well, the melody during that chord is a B flat. So that means that she's going to be singing as B flat right here while I'm playing this, and those two are going to clash the whole time. So that was kind of predictably bad. But the first way that I did it, where we just kind of like play the E flat and then we sneak that in right before the A flat, as long as we keep it far enough off to the side and right before the A flat, I think we could probably get away with that. So let's move on to the next one. This is tritone subdominant chords. Okay, so again, dominant chord. We're going to end up needing more dominant chords, so we might as well talk about this. We can use this tool right here to find chords that go nicely into other chords. So for example, if we had a G chord and we wanted to know what would go nicely into a G chord, we just follow this circle of fifths counterclockwise and we'll find chords that lead nicely into other ones. So this D right here would lead nicely into a G. A G would lead nicely into a C. That's because the G is the 5 of C, which also means, because we talked about fives already, that means that the G could be, if the G is leading to a C, for example, this isn't in our song, this is just an example, this G could be a G7 because we're treating it like it's a 5 chord moving into a C chord. So whatever chord you're using to lead into the next one, you can make that one a dominant chord because you're pretending like just for a second it's the 5 chord. So like an F7 would lead into a B flat, and a B flat 7 would lead into an E flat, and an E flat 7 would lead into an A flat. And I think that's about all the chords that we need to know for this thing up here. So using the circle of fifths, what would lead nicely into an F minor? Well, a C7 would. What would lead nicely into a B flat minor? Actually, an F7 would. So then, if we just use those chords, we haven't really done this thing yet, tritone subbing dominant chords, because we're just trying to put some extra dominant chords in there so we have more stuff to play with. But the idea would be something like this.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me. I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all.
Honestly, it already sounds kind of cool. And that's just throwing in dominant chords, using the circle of fifths to say, well, what could we put before this chord to lead into it? But we haven't tritone subbed any of these yet. And a tritone sub is a couple different ways to come up with a tritone sub. You got to start with a dominant chord, preferably. We have plenty of those now. And we haven't done anything with this section down here. So hopefully we'll remember to throw some stuff in there. In fact, let's do this chord right here. We'll leave everything up top the same. We'll just use this dominant chord here, not because I think it's going to sound better, but just because we haven't done anything else with this section down here. So this E flat 7 chord, we want to play the tritone of this. So the tritone of an E flat is just go 6 half steps in either direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or from the E flat down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, either way, you're going to land on an A. The other way to find a tritone is to just go directly across the circle of fifths. If you're on an E flat, go directly across, you land on an A. So there's at least 3 different ways to find a tritone of any chord. Also, if you just play the chord, like just play an E flat chord and you want the tritone sub of it, if you take the 5 down a half step, that will be a tritone away. It's a flat 5. So there's 4 different ways to find a tritone sub. Also, it's called tritone. Tri meaning 3, tone meaning letters or notes or whole steps. So if we go 3 whole steps away from E flat, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, we would land. Okay, so there's like a zillion different ways to find tritones. But we would just take out the E flat and we would put in an A7. That's a tritone sub. It's taking a dominant chord and then just playing the tritone sub of it just because we don't want to get into why. It just works sometimes, or it doesn't. Let's find out what this all sounds like. If we just keep everything the same, I'm going to play F minor, D flat at the bottom, A flat, A7. I don't think I'm going to like that at all. Let's find out.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my
I didn't play that F either.
Even when I lose and win,
I'm nervous. Here we go.
'cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
Yeah, I think this sounds pretty terrible there. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Instead, let's come up to one of these that I left out. And I don't know, let's try both of them, I guess. The tritone sub of a C7 would be an F sharp 7. And the tritone sub of an F7 would be a B7. So let's try either one of those and see if hopefully one of those sounds good.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when
I don't like 'em.
lose and win.
But it could be also that if we, again, interpolate these, so we go C7 to an F sharp 7, that will sound better, or an F7 to a B7, that those will sound better. That way we have the normal weird one, and then into the other. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes that makes it sound better.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all
Yeah,
your
so I
edges.
think if I just spread it out more, this one over here moved too quickly. C7 to F sharp 7. So I'm just going to go C7 over here and then F sharp 7 right here. And F7 to B7 right there. I think that should fix it. We'll see, I guess.
'Cause all of me loves all
No, I still don't like
of
it.
you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections.
I just don't like them, and I think this might be the first lesson we've ever had where we tried to tritone sub some stuff, and I just didn't like any of them at all. However, we will keep one of them. I'm gonna go ahead and hang on to this F7 to B7, even though I don't really like it, just because we said we would. We'll keep this C7 here. That was decent, and then over here we got the F7. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds too playful or happy or something. I don't know. Come on, wheel. Give me something else. We're going to go with augment dominant chords. I think we already did that, right? Yeah. Then let's try a backdoor dominant. So this is where we are going to take some dominant chord. You already know what that is. It's just where a chord where it says 7 on it. And instead, we're going to play the backdoor dominant of it. We're going to, taking a look at it, thinking of it as a 5, we're going to play the 4, but not the 4, the minor 4. But in the bass, we're not going to play the 4. We're going to play the flat 7. It'll make more sense when we do it. So let's do that actually with, we're kind of running out of space here, and these guys move by so quickly. Instead of a dominant, let's do it right here. We have more space down here. Nothing I've done down here I've liked so far, but we'll try it here. So this E flat, if this is the 5 chord, we're instead going to play the 4 chord. So if that was a 5, this would be a 4. So we played a D flat chord, but we said not the 4 chord, the minor 4 chord. So a D flat minor. And then in the bass, instead of playing a D flat, we're going to play the flat 7 of the key in this key of A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'd have a G, so we're going to play a G flat. So right there, when we get to that E flat, we're going to play a D flat minor over G flat. And we might need to play the E flat first and then play that thing. Sorry. There we go. Man, this might be a stretch.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges. All your perfect imperfections.
I also hate this.
Give your all to me. I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me. And you give me all of you. Oh.
Well, I don't hate it as much as some of the stuff we've done today. Let's go one more. Chord-based reharmonization, sus4 and sus2 and flat 5 on longer chords. So we have actually several longer chords here. This would be an example of a longer chord right here. This one lasts a measure and a half. So we can go A sus4 on this one. Yeah, sure. A sus4. So that just means we're going to play, instead of playing A flat chord straight up, we're going to take the 3 up to the 4. And then we're going to go ahead and release that 4 to drop back down to that 3 and play a regular A flat there. And then we could do the same thing here with this B flat minor. We could, instead of making it a sus4, we could make it a B flat minor sus2, which just means instead of playing the B flat minor, we'd play that one first. We take the 3 down to 2 before we bring it up to B flat minor. And then this one right here, I would much prefer to do an E flat suspended right here. Man, but what if we did a flat 5? That's really weird. I hate that, but we haven't used a flat 5 anywhere else. And we did use this cool Augmented feature over here. So we're gonna go E flat, flat 5. So that's just an E flat chord. But first we're gonna play, I hate that. And all of this is messing with this melody line right here. So this is the worst possible place to do this because your melody B flat, and I'm taking the 5 down to that thing and then playing it in E flat and then augmenting it. The more I look at this, the more I think it's just all a terrible idea. I'm just gonna go, I can do an E flat sus4 right here to an E flat because that's my E flat chord, and a sus4 would be that, and that doesn't mess with the melody at all. So we use a suspended chord there, and then we ended up not augmenting any of the others. Let's augment this one. I think that shouldn't be too bad. So A flat suspended to A flat to C7 augmented to F minor to F7 B flat sus2 to B flat minor to E flat suspended to E flat. I think this is gonna actually sound pretty decent. I don't know about that bottom part.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
Okay, I still feel like we need more stuff happening down here, but we can maybe mess with that when we do. So there's obviously a lot more there to do with the chord-based reharmonization, but we should do some stuff with the melody as well. So we're going to use the reharm chart. I had a feeling. So then let's take a look at this thing down here. All we want to do is take a look at the melody and say, using this note in the melody. This is the opposite of all the stuff that we did a second ago. We were just looking at like, take a look at this chord. What other chord could we put in here? And hopefully it doesn't wreck the melody too much. This is the opposite of that. This is forget all the chords. Let's just take a look at the melody. So let's take a look at like this one right here. We've got a C that lasts for quite some time, like 6.5 beats. So that should be plenty of time to do some really cool stuff with that C. And there's a chart down here that says, well, if your melody note is a C, here are some options for chords for you. And these are listed in their function or what the root note is. So if you've got C, you could have your root as a C, and you could have pretty much any kind of C that you want. C major, C minor, C augmented, C diminished, any C you want. And that C is still gonna fit in. However, if you want to use B as a root instead, you could play a B7 flat 9, and this thing would still fit in. We still have that one right there. So there's a list of chords where it's just all of these have a C in them. We can probably pick like 2 or 3 since we've got 6 beats to hang on to this thing. So I'm gonna try to pick them randomly here. I'm gonna pick, without looking, that one right there, and that one, and that one. So what did we come up with? Hopefully something somewhat decent. D7 to E, really? To an E augmented. To G flat something. Man, G flat 13 or G flat diminished. Wow, okay, so we said, what did I say? D to E to G flat. Goodness. That's what happens when you pick them randomly. But this C should still fit in if I play a D7, or if I play a G7, right there, G flat 7 with like a sharp 11. Yeah, or, yeah, we'll say sharp 11. And then what was the other one that we picked? Oh, it was D and then E and then G flat. Oh, that'll be cool, actually. I like that because we're about to play a G flat anyway. So, hey, cool. Sometimes things work out. So, E augmented. So, we play D, E, and then G flat. Flat 7, sharp 11. And then we're going to, using that same G flat, we're going to switch to that D flat minor. Wow, that's going to be really interesting. So, that's a lot of chords all in one spot. So, I give you all of me, and you give me all I don't know, maybe it'll sound different with her singing.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll
Okay, well, there's definitely some stuff in there. Now, the only thing I don't like about this, actually, I'm kind of digging that. I guess that works. I don't know. If I felt like we went back, like this was also groovy and cool and weird over here, and then we just went back to some normal chords right there. But whatever. I guess that's how that's supposed to work. But the idea, of course, is here you're just going to pay attention to the melody, go pick some chords, and try them out. You might not like all of them, but try them out enough times that you can find out whether you actually like them or whether they just strike you as odd. Like, for example, this B7 over here, unfortunately, I think is growing on me. It's sounding less and less terrible each time that I play it in my own head, but it struck me at first as something horrible. So if you run into something like that, you might want to try it a few times and just make sure that it's not just so jarring that you're rejecting it, even though it sounds really cool. It's just something very, very different. Let's go with one more of these and see if we can maybe throw something on this G right here, something between the F and the D flat, just because we have so much movement over here. We could maybe do something. Now I'm going to a D flat. We could just go straight through. Yeah, I don't even have to go down and look at it. I know that G is inside an E flat chord, and I could go F, E flat, D flat. So, unfortunately. So, what I'm supposed to do is, pretending like I don't know what I'm doing here, this G, I wonder what this G could go inside of. And then we come down here to our chart that doesn't want to show up. And then G could be any one of these chords. And then I go, all right, well, I want to pick an E flat because my bass is starting at an F and it's going to a D flat. So what would go in between there? An E flat. And then does the G flat fit? Does the G fit inside an E flat chord? Oh, yes, it does. What a shocker. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm planning on doing. But maybe we can. Okay. Or if I chose something else. Man, if I chose an E, like an E minor, I don't like that at all. I don't think I like any of those. I'm going to stick with the E flat. I think it was a good idea at the beginning, and we'll just try that out. Okay, so that was 1.5 attempts at the melody chart. The other one kind of fell into place because it was just too obvious. Once I started paying attention to the bass line here, F down to a D flat, the E flat was too obvious of a choice. So then all of this together would sound like...
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh,
I gotta get that in there with her. Okay, so that last part is really super weird. I don't know if I like it or not, but I do like how we go down. I like the chords without the melody, so I think I probably like it. My ear is hearing the original chords too much, and also if she was here, I would, like, if I was arranging this and if she wasn't like some random singer just singing the melody, that I would probably have her change the rhythm on that. That'd be a really, I think, cool way to approach that. But anyway, she's not going to do that. She's going to sing it the exact same way. Also, I don't like this part up here because it's too plain. It sounds like the original thing, I think, because of this E flat right here and because of this A flat right here. So this is the part in the lesson where I just change stuff because I don't like the way that it sounds. So that's the way that it would end up if you just randomly reharmed this thing and didn't use much taste at all. Although I did get rid of those. What were they? Oh, the tritone subs at the beginning. Those didn't work out too well. But I think we're going to be able to get some more in here. So at this point, I'm just going to pick some stuff that I would like if a student brought this in and said, hey, I've got this reharm that I'm working on. What do you think I should change on it? I would say, hey, it sounds great. Great job. Let's do another one. And I probably wouldn't critique it too much unless they really push me. I'd say, well, the beginning sounds boring because the A flat just sounds like an A flat. The E flat just sounds like an E flat. So we need some other stuff. So we need this all. So maybe at the beginning, we can go backwards from this C augmented, and we could play like a G leading into the C because of the circle of fifths thing that we did at the very beginning. So we could play a G into a C that would lead into an F, and then maybe and this sus2 thing, I don't like that either because it just delays the 3 of the B flat minor chord, and it's just really pretty. We need that, and the melody is sitting right there on the B flat, so it's kind of hard to pretend like this B flat doesn't have. No, that's not true. Bummer. Okay. Well, the melody is on a B flat, and I was thinking it was D flat. Nope, that excuse doesn't work. I just don't like it. That's the truth. I guess I just don't like it. So we're gonna play B flat with that one in there, and then something else that would lead in, because we don't need that anymore now that we've got that B flat right there. So something that could take us to, the melody's right there. All your perfect imperfection. Well, I complained all that whole time about that B flat and how I couldn't do anything with the E flat. So let's do this. We're going to start with the A flat major 7. So that it sounds like the song to start with. But then when we loop back around, instead of going to A flat, I want to use, because remember, we've got this thing looped around twice. So this A flat right here, we'll use an F minor instead. That's because that is basically all the same notes. That's an F minor, that's an A flat. That's an A flat, that's an F minor. That's an A flat, that's an F minor. It's basically the same exact set of notes. So we're going to use an F minor, but that'll just give that a little bit different color. And going into an F minor, we could also use this G to C thing that we use to get into that F minor as well. So we could go like G to C. I'm going to call that a C7. And for this one, I'm going to go with a G half diminished. Yeah, we'll do that. So this section right here, perfect imperfections, give your all. Yep, so that all takes the place of that thing right there. G half diminished to C7. That's the G leading into the C. I've just changed the quality of the chords, meaning change a major to a minor, or a minor to a major, or a major to a diminished, or augmented to a whatever. So it changed the qualities of those. G half diminished to C7 to an F minor right here. And that's going to be the big difference. And then I think we'll loop back around to the G, back to the F minor again. Okay, now at this point, I feel like the bass line needs to move somewhere. Loves your curves and all your... Now, if I could, I've got a B flat right here. Oh, this would be cool. I've got a B flat right here. I got to get to a G. Loves and curves in all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. If I could creep down there, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'll just move the bass down. So I'll go B flat minor to a B flat minor over A to B flat minor. Yeah, B flat minor. Gotta try some of this stuff out. Over A flat. So that's just taking that bass line. I'm not changing the chord at all. B flat minor, B flat minor over A, B flat minor over A flat. I didn't put the minor on there, but you know what I meant. B flat minor over A flat, and that way my bass line can just go smoothly from there down to there. And then to you. Okay, let's try it. This is weird. This is not what I expected.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
Okay, one more time. Okay, yeah.
'Cause all of me loves all
I gotta get to that G sooner.
of you.
That's what happened the first time.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
Okay, so that rhythm on that one part, I really want that. She kind of does that the first time, but then on the second time she. Okay, and then the G7 to C augmented. I didn't quite get the augmented. Last time, here we go.
'Cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning, even when I lose I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh.
there's some stuff in there. We talked about chord substitutions. We talked about the chords inside of a key. We talked about the circle of fifths. We talked about tritones. Didn't work out as well on this one as on some of them. We talked about augmented chords. Man, what else did we talk about? Chord qualities. We talked about key signatures and the lines and spaces, the treble clef. Who saw that one coming? And also about a little bit about bass line movements and how, for example, when we connected that F to that D flat, that's added up pretty cool. And then also we accidentally had this nice little that thing that had the walking up thing. And then I think my favorite part, the B flat minor. So lots of cool stuff in there that doesn't sound at all like John Legend. No offense, John Legend, but I kind of like this one. I'll have to listen back to that one in like 6 months or something and see if I still love that one. But whatever parts of it you loved or hated, let me know. If you found something in there that you think that you could steal and use in your own playing, then steal and use it in your own playing. I didn't make up any of this stuff. I stole all this from various places. So send me your video submissions. I'd love to see what you come up with. Till next time, good luck, have fun.